From the Soul Taker's impeccable boxing genes to the world of boxing needing a clash of the titans, here's why fans are demanding to see Tsyzu versus Jermell Charlo. I want to kick things off here by talking about how Tim's broken out into the boxing scene. Born on November 2nd, 1994, this Australian star's taken the world by storm. Since March 2023, he's held the World Boxing Organization's interim light middleweight title, and that comes off as no surprise to anyone either. He's the son of the former light welterweight boxing world champion, Tsyzu. Because of his father, Tim's always been surrounded by sports since he was a little kid. He might have started out his career in gymnastics, but when he turned 13, everything changed for him after he and his family shifted to Moscow. Tsyzu turned out to be a natural at boxing, and after getting an amateur boxing record of 33-1, he turned pro in 2016 at the age of 22, even though he was exceptional in the ring a couple of years before he put his big boy pants on. Tim suffered a horrific hand injury, which made him take a break from the sport for almost 4 years. But in December 2016, he was back with a bang, defeating Zoran Cassidy by unanimous decision at the Sydney Cricket Ground. After that, Tim got used to winning a little too much. Whether he was up against Dennis Hogan, Steve Spark, or even Takeshi Inoue, it didn't matter because he took them all down one by one. As of July 2023, holds a professional boxing record of 23 wins and no losses. 17 of those wins were just by knockout, and the rest were by unanimous decision. Clearly, he's on his way to becoming a boxing legend, just like his old man. In fact, on March 12, 2023, Tsyzu took on the former WBC 154-pound champion Tony Harrison for the interim WVO junior middleweight title, and he won the fight in the 9th round through knockout. Seeing how he's smashing records and creating history, Tim's fans just can't wait for him to take on someone who he can absolutely annihilate in the ring. And one of the contenders in the running is none other than Jermell Charlo. As of July 2023, the American professional boxer's the undisputed light middleweight world champion. Not only has he held the WBC title since 2019, but he's also got the WBA super title, as well as the IBF and ring titles under his belt since 2020. Just like Tim, Jermell's also a boxing protege. Even his identical twin brother is a professional boxer with multiple titles of his own. And let's not forget, their boxer dad's the reason both brothers fell in love with the sport in the first place. In just 2 years, Jermell graduated from the amateur boxing scene to the elite level, winning a bronze medal at the 2005 Junior Olympics when he was only 15 years old. Charlo bid farewell to his amateur career with a record of 56 wins and 8 losses, which are extremely impressive numbers in the boxing community. Unlike Tim, who started his pro career at 22, Jermell was only 17 inches when he kick-started professional boxing. His first fight was up against Corey Somerville. He won the bout, of course, and after that, he was just unstoppable. In 2008, he added the Jesus Villarreal, Rodrigo Villarreal, and Dion Nash to his list of victims. And oh boy, that sensational one-punch knockout where he sent Chris Chapman home in the 3rd round still remains my absolute favorite. Jermell's been steadily climbing up the ranks for so long now. His wins against Charlie Ota, Vanes Martirosyan, and even Charles Hatley still remain iconic as ever, and it's one of the reasons why fans are itching to have him go up against Tim now. While Tsyzu's still an underdog compared to Charlo, that doesn't mean he's not ready to square him up in a fight. In fact, since a bout between these two guys has been in the pipeline for so long, fans are now frustrated at the constant delays. Even Tim's had enough of it. Word on the street is these two were supposed to go up against each other in January 2023, but apparently Jermell wasn't available to step into the ring. He suffered a nasty hand injury and was unable to fight. His situation was understandable since Tim also went through the same thing before he turned pro. Some fans were suspicious of the odd timing, but then the unexpected happened. Tsyzu got into a brawl with his friend's dog who bit his right forearm, leaving him with a hand injury of his own. This really put a damper on the whole situation since fans and pros alike were looking forward to his bout, but apparently Tim's injury was so severe that he ended up needing surgery, and according to him, he gained some sort of superpowers as a result of the incident. Tim said that getting attacked by the pit bull felt like he was possessed, and for a while, he seemed like one too. Luckily for Tim, he's recovered super quick, even though he got like 20-something stitches and a truckload of antibiotics to prevent post-op infection. Let's rewind that for a second. This guy got into a nasty dog attack, got surgery, spent time recovering, and is now all set to appear in the ring, as if nothing even happened. I think he was probably onto something when he said he'd gotten all superhero-like, because while Tim's out there getting back to his feet in no time, Charlo was nowhere to be seen after he first got himself out of the bout. When asked if Tsyzu got a message for Jermell ahead of their fight, Tim said that he recovered quicker than him and that he should get his hand healed ASAP. He also knows that their potential bout isn't an easy fight and wanted to be at 120% when he faces him. Because like the fans, even Tsyzu knows that Charlo's the only guy who could challenge him right now. Both fighters have got the right kind of winning attitude and would not add nothing to prove their worth. Both of them have got boxing embedded into their genes, so it's going to be interesting to see who wins at the end. Despite getting injured, Tim really wowed everyone after he beat Carlos Ocampo in a brutal knockout win on the Gold Coast on the 18th of June 2023. Because of this, he's now the favorite to beat Jermell. Sure, Charlo had a loyal fan base who knew their guy would give the Aussie a fight to remember, but let's face it, have you heard much from him lately? Yeah, I don't think so, but Tim's win over Ocampo is a huge signal over to Jermell that he's ready to fight him for his belts. Also, it wasn't like Tsyzu has to fight Carlos in the first place, since he's already the mandatory challenger to take on Charlo sometime later in 2023. But wait, is that fight even on the cards right now? Has Jermell recovered completely and making a comeback? Well, rumor has it that the fight's definitely taking place, but there's no proper date or time fixed yet. I don't know if there's any UFC fans watching this, but this feels like the whole situation with Conor McGregor and Mike Chandler, don't you think? Although thankfully, there's no USADA involved here, and no one's missing testing pool deadlines. Now, back to my source who dished the details of the bout between Charlo and Tsyzu. According to the WBO officials, the American superstar has to fight Tim in any case, which is a decision that George Rose thinks is massive. As of July 2023, it's been quite a few months since Charlo broke his hand, and he's still got given any confirmation if he's going to defend all 4 of his super welterweight belts yet, because at this point the fight's gotten delayed twice and fans are pissed that they're being left all high and dry for nothing. After Tim beat Tony Harrison, the only man who's ever beaten Charlo, everyone was thrilled to see just how crazy things would get. Once both champions enter the ring and have a go at each other, the fans will finally be satisfied. But sadly, Jermell's just gone off the grid. Maybe he's just too scared to come out and has silently admitted defeat. If you remember, back when Tsyzu had a hard time in his bout against Terrell Gausha, he fancied his chances of winning against Tim a little. But seeing just how determined the Australian boxer is, I'm sure he's having a hard time coming to terms with the fact that he might have to give up his belts. Even former world champion Shawn Porter has said that since Tim's got all this momentum on his side, it's likely that he's taking those belts home. So the only question is, Jermell, you in for a duel, my guy? And there it is. From the Soul Taker's impeccable boxing genes to the world of boxing needing a clash of the titans, here's why fans are demanding to see Tsyzu versus Jermell Charlo.